Cold War soldiers didn't have the luxury of stepping out of the weather. They lived in it, slept in it, fought in it, and when the cold mixed with wet snow, endless sleet, and that bone-deep damp that creeps under your skin, it didn't matter how tough you were. Nature hit harder. That's why the militaries locked away a quiet breakthrough. A fibre so effective that men could lie on soaked ground and still stay warm enough to keep their fingers moving and their minds sharp. Forget blankets. This was the real battlefield heater. And today, survivalists and history lovers can steal the same principles to build smarter, warmer systems anywhere. Let's break it down like we're talking across the table at HistoryHQ, straight, clean, and packed with the good stuff. The breakthrough came from how the fibre trapped air and not water. The genius wasn't magic, it was engineering. Traditional materials like wool or cotton work well until they get wet. Once those fibres soak up water, they collapse, lose loft, and stop holding warm air. The Cold War fibre didn't play by those rules. Its strands were designed to resist water from the start. Each filament held tiny pockets of air that didn't disappear when soaked. Those air pockets were the real insulation, the silent warriors that slowed heat loss even when the world was freezing and miserable. Soldiers would wrap themselves in these fibre-filled blankets, drenched from rain or melted snow, and still hold their core temperature. In a time when frostbite didn't just mean injury, but mission failure, this fibre kept units alive long enough to fight, move, and respond. You can use this exact principle today. Loft equals warmth. Trapped air equals survival. Whether you're choosing winter layers, building bedding for a cabin, or rigging up a makeshift shelter, always pick materials that keep their loft when wet. Modern synthetics, down treated with hydrophobic coatings, and hollow core fibres all mimic this Cold War brilliance. Even simple fleece stacked properly can create surprisingly effective pockets of warm air. Weight kills mobility. During the Cold War, especially in Europe's forests and the Arctic regions, troops had to cover ground fast while carrying everything they needed. Wool blankets were dead weight, big, bulky, awkward. But the secret fibre, it packed down almost flat. Soldiers could shove it into a pack, strap it to gear, or carry two without fatigue setting in. Once deployed, it expanded instantly, breathing back into its full insulating form. For anyone building a modern go bag or survival kit, this lesson is gold. Prioritize insulation that compresses easily, springs back fast, and doesn't lose performance after storage. A sleeping bag, for example, should act like this fibre. Light on your back, heavy on warmth when you need it. Same thing with jackets, mid-layers, and even emergency bedding you keep in a vehicle. Packability is not convenience. It's freedom of movement. Moisture management was the fibre's real superpower. Staying warm is one thing. Staying warm while wet is survival alchemy. This fibre didn't soak up water, it pushed it away. The strands repelled moisture while protecting the tiny internal pockets of air that did the actual insulating. Even sweat, which honestly can be just as dangerous as rain in freezing environments, didn't collapse the structure. Modern application? Always control moisture. If you're building a shelter, lay down a barrier, plastic sheet, tarp, heavy-duty cloth, before putting insulation on top. That simple step can raise comfort by a shocking margin. And if you're layering clothing, stick to moisture-wicking base layers, then insulation that stays warm when damp, and finally a shell to fight wind and rain. It's the same formula soldiers learned the hard way, and it still works anywhere from the mountains to your backyard on a freezing night. Wool shrinks. Cotton mildews. Many natural fibres break down fast under constant damp abuse. But this Cold War material held its structure for months in the field. Soldiers learned to layer it under standard uniforms or combine it with outer shells to build adaptive insulation systems that match the temperature and terrain. That's a skill every modern survivalist should master. Layering allows you to tune your insulation instead of committing to one thick, sweaty, heavy solution. Layer a moisture barrier. Add compressible insulation, then shield it with an outer layer that blocks wind. Indoors, you can do the same thing with bedding. Alternate breathable layers with insulating ones to trap heat more effectively. This fibre wasn't just a product, it was cold weather strategy. Engineers didn't design it to be cosy. They designed it to keep men alive long enough to complete missions in environments that chew up the unprepared. And, you know, the core lessons still matter today. Air is your friend. Moisture is your enemy. Portability is performance. Layering is survival. If you take these principles and apply them to anything, your winter gear, your bug-out bag, your cabin bedding, even the way you teach others about staying warm, you're using Cold War engineering in, well, the smartest way possible. And that's what makes history useful, not as trivia, but as a roadmap. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the tech that kept Cold War soldiers alive in brutal conditions, hit subscribe, tap that like button, and share this with someone who loves history with a practical edge. More hidden innovations, battlefield breakthroughs, and survival lessons from the past are coming your way here on HistoryHQ.